Bowls buddies, good morning and welcome to another Tuesday tutorial, and today it's one that you've all been waiting for. It's the one I've had most requests about, and of course it's about striking. And striking is probably the most exciting part of the game. It's the most destructive, and when used properly it can be one of the most advantageous skills to have in your armoury. We'll get on the green in a minute, but first of all, a couple of things. Guys, if you like the video, please hit that like button. It means an awful lot to the channel. And if you're not already a bowls buddy and a member of this wonderful community, please hit the subscribe button. It's absolutely free of charge. And hit the notification bell for notifications of new content on the channel. So there we go. Now, I just want to talk initially about one of there's a couple of problems I find with beginners and people who struggle with striking, but the main one is they try and strike too hard. Now, the modern game is quite different from the one that I started playing 30 odd years ago, 40 years ago even. Striking, maybe not at that time, but certainly 10-20 years before that, was frowned upon, and it was seen as a matter of last resort. Round about the time when television started getting interested in bowls, people realised that striking was an immense skill and a talent and could turn the game on its head. So nowadays we've got to the stage where the best players in the game play short marks. If they're not in, they're not, the jack off, start again. Whereas, you know, 30 years ago it was all about playing corners. Corner bowling was key, and striking was not an afterthought, but it was secondary to your talents, playing a length, playing a distance. So striking has become a really important part of the game, and I think if you want to be any good at bowls, you need to be able to strike. But the biggest problem is people try and strike too hard. It takes an awful lot of time and practice and ability to be able to strike at the sort of pace that Callum and Greg does with any great accuracy. So beginners, you need to decide straight away what you're wanting to do when you're striking. For me, most of the time, if you can reach full corners on a biggish green, that sort of strength, pace of bowl is enough when you're striking over 20 or 30 yards. You don't really need to be throwing yourself off your feet. So we'll get onto the green in a moment. Remember the things from the how to reach on heavy greens, because it's very, very similar. Striking, all you're wanting to do is stride out a little bit more, swing the arm further back, swing it through quicker, and that's really it. And it's just practicing, it's getting somebody with you to practice. So we'll get on the green in a minute and we'll have a look at what we can do here. Okay, so if you remember when we were looking at reaching on heavy greens, it was really imperative to get your weight back and come forward and through. Now, for most beginners, as long as your reach is as though you're going full corners, that'll be hard enough. You know, you don't need to be striking a million miles an hour, and that's something you can work up to as you practice. Now, I'll try and show you how I strike. My pal Ollie, you just get down there. He's going to stop the strike for me, and this is me striking at full pelt, and this is how I'd do it. So that's going a million miles an hour. The arm was back, weight was back, everything was back, and then really brought through with some pace. Now, I also tend to walk off the mat. You find that a lot of the younger players run off the mat to get as much, send it back Ollie, to get as much power behind the ball as you can. Now, your average bowler, you can just do a fairly normal, if that's your normal stride, you're only really coming out another half stride and swinging that arm fast. That's plenty fast enough. That's going to hold its line. It's not going to deviate much, and it's going to damage the head. If you hit something, it's going to damage the head. Now, when it comes to drills, there's two things you can do, but you need somebody with you at both times. You need a ball to start with, one each, or just one if you're sharing, but obviously social distancing, I don't think it matters for this. And just practice with a mat striking at one another and getting them to stop it with your foot. You don't have to get your hands or break your legs or anything like that. Just practice striking, getting used to that technique and maintaining your balance. Balance is key. Okay, and then once you've practiced that and you've got your striking delivery honed, or just that you feel comfortable with it, then introduce a jack each, and striking at the jack again with somebody behind the jack stopping the ball from going in the ditch. Okay, just practice striking at a bear jack. If you can hit a bear jack, you'll hit a big end with balls round it. So basics for striking: don't strike too hard. Even if you're only playing 10 yards over pace, you'll still do damage to the end. Keep your balance. Don't try and overexert that yourself and overextend that stride. All you'll do is lose your balance, and that's no good. You'll just throw a ball away. And when you're practicing, practice with somebody else. You know, you don't want to ruin your bowls, you don't want to smash the boards in. It's not good. So you need two of you to practice striking, but 10 minutes or so at the end of your practice session, make sure that the green's nearly empty or there's nobody on it, and you'll be fine. Just be sensible. So hopefully that might have given you a few ideas about how to practice striking, what to do. But if you just remember the basics of not trying to strike too hard and keeping your balance, you won't go far wrong. The tips to reach on heavy greens, they work just as well for striking. And who knows, after a few months practice, you might be letting them go like Callum Rate. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching. I hope it's been of help. If you've enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. And guys, if you do go on the green to practice, stay safe, and I'll see you on the other side.